Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Today, we're exploring the question of who is actually shaping the future of AI. Our analysis is based on the article, The Minds Behind the Machines, Mapping the Voices Defining AI's Direction by Basil C. Puglisi, published on LinkedIn on October 16, 2025.
The central argument of this piece is that AI's path forward isn't just an inevitable outcome of code and algorithms. Instead, its trajectory is being actively molded by the ideas, the debates, and the foresight of specific individuals who are defining both its capabilities and its limitations.
You see, the source article identifies 22 key figures. It's their work, their arguments, and, importantly, their disagreements that really form the architecture of the global conversation we're having about AI today.
So here's how we'll break down this intellectual map. We'll begin with the concept of AI's human architecture. From there, we'll examine three key groups: the builders, the regulators, and the navigators. And we'll finish up by looking at why coherence, not consensus, is the ultimate goal.
It's crucial to think of these influential figures not as some unified front, but as a dynamic intellectual ecosystem. Progress in this space isn't really driven by everyone agreeing. Instead, it's fueled by the productive tension that exists between their very different, often competing ideas.
All right, let's start with our first group, the builders. These are the individuals who are, on the one hand, constructing the core technical power of AI, and on the other hand, simultaneously trying to build its moral and ethical infrastructure.
This group really embodies the central tension in AI development. On one side, you have architects like Geoffrey Hinton and Andrew Ng, focused on creating ever more powerful capabilities. On the other side, you have ethicists like Tim Gebru and Joy Buolamwini, who are demanding transparency and accountability. It's that classic conflict between can we do this and should we do this? And then you have thinkers like Dario Amodei, who are trying to bridge that gap with frameworks like constitutional AI, which is an attempt to train models on principles, not just on raw data.
This statement perfectly summarizes the core principle of the ethics advocates. For them, fairness isn't something you can just add on at the end, like a software update. It has to be a non-negotiable part of the system's architecture right from the very beginning.
Now, let's turn to our second group, the regulators. These thinkers are operating at a higher macro level. They're the ones designing the systems of restraint and trying to measure the broad societal and economic consequences of AI. A fundamental economic debate, framed by theorists like Eric Brynjolfsson and Darren Acemoglu, really centers on this core question. Is AI's primary purpose to maximize corporate efficiency, or should its benefits be distributed to create broader human prosperity? And their point is that the technology itself doesn't decide the answer. We do, through the policy choices we make.
Now, to build these systems of restraint, these theorists have given us some powerful concepts. Stuart Russell's idea of human-compatible AI pushes for systems that we can actually prove are aligned with human values. Lina Khan's work on algorithmic monopolies is already shaping antitrust policy. Eric Bjornfinson's Turing trap warns us against the mistake of valuing AI that simply mimics humans over AI that truly augments them. And Kate Crawford's research reveals the hidden costs in labor, energy, and resources that support this whole industry.
This brings us to our final group, the navigators. Their role is to expand the conversation, asking the ultimate questions about AI's long-term path while also challenging the Western-centric assumptions that have dominated the field for so long. And this question really marks the turning point. It signals a shift away from the purely quantifiable worlds of engineering and economics and toward the more abstract but absolutely crucial considerations of existential risk, purpose, and even the definition of intelligence itself.
So here you have thinkers like Nick Bostrom and Eliza Yudkowsky, who are compelling the entire field to take long-term safety seriously. At the same time, you have vital global voices like Abeba Berhani, who critiques the colonial dynamics of data extraction, and Rana El-Kalyoubi, who works to embed emotional intelligence into our technology. And then figures like Kai-Fu Lee provide that essential perspective from outside the Silicon Valley bubble.
So, after looking at this entire map of AI's intellectual landscape, what's the main takeaway? Well, it suggests a fundamental shift in how we should think about what progress in this field actually looks like. The objective is not for all of these different voices to agree. In fact, their disagreement is what's productive. The tension between the builder and the critic, between the innovator and the regulator, that's precisely what creates a coherent, functional system. It's this living architecture of competing ideas that keeps AI's rapid advancement tethered to our human values. This leads us to one final, forward-looking question.
The balance of influence within this ecosystem is not static, it's constantly in flux. As the technology continues to evolve, we have to ask ourselves, which of these perspectives, the technical, the ethical, the economic, or the philosophical, will become dominant and ultimately define the next era of AI?
Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. We encourage you to subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel. Please like this video, add your comments, and share it with your network. It's the best way to help other professionals find this content.